Good morning, students. This is class 9 science lesson tissue. Students, in our last class, we have studied about meristematic tissue. What are meristematic tissue and the types of meristematic tissue. Today, we are going to study about permanent tissue. How permanent tissue are formed and what. Different parts of the plants have to perform different function. Different parts have to perform different functions. So the cells formed by meristematic tissue lose their ability to divide and take up specific roles. They lose their ability to divide and take up specific roles. Such tissues are known as permanent tissue. So we can say permanent tissue are the tissues formed by differentiation of meristematic tissue and they have lost their dividing capacity. Okay. New cells produced by meristem are initially like those of the meristem itself, but as they grow and mature, their characteristics slowly change and they become differentiated as components of other tissues. They take up a specific role and lose the ability to divide. They lose their ability to divide. As a result, they form permanent tissue. This process of taking up a permanent shape, size, and function is called differentiation. What is differentiation? The process of taking up a permanent shape, size, and function is termed as differentiation. Cells of meristematic tissue differentiate to form different types of permanent tissue. What happens? Cells of meristematic tissue, they differentiate and form different types of permanent tissue. Now, what are the important characteristics of permanent tissue? We'll study about the important characteristics of permanent tissue. These tissues may be living or dead. They may be thin or thick walled. They may be living or dead. They may be thin or thick walled, and they have a fixed shape and size. They have fixed shape and size. Even the living cells have no or very poor division capacity. Either they don't divide or their dividing capacity is very poor. Their dividing capacity is very poor. Then intercellular spaces are often present. They may be present or absent. Now, different types of permanent tissue. We'll study about different types of permanent tissue. Different types of permanent tissue. Permanent tissues can again be divided into two types: simple permanent and complex permanent. They may be divided into two groups: simple permanent and complex permanent tissue. Again, simple permanent tissues are of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Means we can say tissues may be divided into meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue are of three types. Then permanent tissue are again divided into two groups: simple permanent and complex permanent. Then simple permanent tissues, again three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. So we'll start with parenchyma. Parenchyma is a basic packing tissue. It is a basic packing tissue which provides support to plants and also store nutrients. See, this is the picture of parenchyma tissue. This is the picture of parenchyma tissue. So we can say it is a basic packing tissue providing support to plants and storing nutrients. Parenchyma cells are least specialized. These cells are least specialized. It consists of living cells. These cells are living. Thin walled. Cell wall are thin. Then composed of cellulose. Cell wall is made up of cellulose. They are loosely packed with large intercellular spaces. See, these are the intercellular spaces. These are the intercellular spaces. They have large intercellular spaces and are loosely packed. And it stores food in the form of starch. It so stores food in the form of starch. Then it stores nutrients, water, and waste product in stems and roots. When they are present in stems, roots, they store nutrients, water, and waste product. In the leaves and some young stems, parenchyma cells may contain chlorophyll. When the parenchyma cell contains chlorophyll, they are known as chlorenchyma because they are performing the function of photosynthesis. In leaves and young stems, parenchyma cells may contain chlorophyll, chloroplast, and such parenchyma tissue is known as chlorenchyma, as it is performing the function of photosynthesis. And in the same way, in hydrophytes, that is in aquatic plants, the parenchyma may have large air cavities. They may have large air cavities, and which these air cavities provide buoyancy to the plants to float in water. And these parenchyma, which have air filled in their cells, they are known as parenchyma. They are known as parenchyma. In aquatic plants, fairly large air cavities are present to provide buoyancy, and then these are known as parenchyma. Then this parenchyma is known as parenchyma. When air is filled in the cells, it is termed as parenchyma. When chlorophyll is there, it is termed as chlorenchyma. What are the functions? Main functions of this parenchyma tissue is food storage, to store food. And being meristematic in nature, parenchyma is associated with the healing, regeneration, and the forming of adventitious roots and graft union, etc. And they also maintain the turgidity, and they are also used to store products like gum, tannins, crystals, resins, and inorganic waste material. So you can see in this picture also large intercellular spaces, large vacuole, shape is round, and cytoplasm. So we'll continue with cholenchyma in the next class. Thank you and have a nice day.